how many of you know what a blog is? Would anybody venture to, so the rest of you probably don't know what a blog is. How many of you would like to have a blog of your own? How many of you prefer never to do blogging? And how many of you wouldn't answer a question I asked no matter what the question was? Okay.
Heidi, even if we have a blog.
Have a blog. How many of you have a blog? Yes. Thank you, Carol. That's because I wasn't reading my notes. So, would anybody like to share what they think a blog is? Anybody understand what a blog is and like to share it? Alan?
I'm not quite sure, but it's something where you make comments and people can comment back, and it's like an interaction online. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's an online journal or a place to post your thoughts, your ideas, your business advice, whatever that may be, in real time. Whereas with a website, when you post information, I'll give you an example. If you post an article on your website and you post the same article on your blog, Google will find the blog post within minutes, hours, or even just a day. The post that you put on your website, however, may not get found by Google or indexed by Google for days, weeks, maybe even months. It has something to do with how the information is disseminated to the internet, called RSS, or really simple syndication. I don't know how it works. I'm not a tech person. I only tell you this because it does work. So if, for instance, you were a company and you wanted information to get out there right away, you wanted to post a press release about something happening right away in your industry, if you put it on your website, which you should anyway, when you post a press release on a blog or on a press release website, it's going to get out to Google much quicker, and they will index it, and people will find out about what you're doing much quicker. If you post it on your website, they may find out about it months after the event has happened. So that's the reason you want to have a blog. Maybe you don't want to have a blog, but maybe you want to be involved in blogging in some way. So today what I want to do in the short time we have is tell you a little bit about the statistics of blogging and maybe why your company or you as a person, individual, might want to be blogging. I'm going to give you a few statistics. According to Pew Internet research, some 8 million Americans have created blogs, and more than 27 of internet users visit blogs regularly. That means that in this room, at least 3 of us are visiting blogs there all the time. 12% of internet users have posted comments or other material, maybe an article or something, on other blogs, and yet 62% of internet users in America still don't even know what a blog is. Pretty interesting, huh? And in case you're one of them, a blog, as I mentioned, is a web blog or an online public diary or journal that is written for others to read. And in fact, Technorati, the authority on blogging, states that there are a total of 133 million blogs in the atmosphere, or on the internet today. That's worldwide. And according to that same report, 12,000 new blogs are started every day, which translates to 1.4 new blogs each and every second. This, in fact, more than 1 million blogs are one-day wonders. So if you start a blog, probably some of you, I know I started a blog 6 years ago was my first blog. I started it, I played with it for a day, and I decided it wasn't for me. And it took me another year before I could actually get back on and blog again, that I finally got it. I finally understood the concept. So about 1.3 million blogs have been abandoned since the day blogging began. That still leaves 130 million blogs vying for online attention. So the main reason you might want to have a blog is that it's the best way to get noticed by the search engines. In fact, I want to show you, there's a really cool website. Sure. Oh, okay.
Computer.
Did we turn it off?
The computer.
Oh, it's my computer.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Can you, it's sleeping? If this shows up,
Your computer.
I'm on.
So let me
I have to show you this because it's a really cool website. It's called worldometers.info. And it actually shows you in real time how many people are posting on their blogs every single second. Okay, well, you'll see it in a second. So according to Dan Zarella, who is the founder of HubSpot, 71.4% of users say that blogs affect their purchasing decisions somewhat or a lot. So you may not even realize that you're visiting blogs when you're looking for information about companies you might want to do business with. Because today, a blog even looks like a website. So you see right now, as we're talking, those numbers, that's how many people around the world are posting to blogs. It's amazing. You can't even keep up. So it started at 0 at midnight. So since midnight, 324,858 have been posting a blog post. I'm one of them because I do everything automated. So all 5 of my blogs are going to have a blog post today at some point in time. So what can you do? What do you think you can do with a blog besides share personal information? What are some of the things?
Post an event that you're having?
Absolutely, you can post an event. Another timely. It's great for timely information.
You can educate people or share an article.
Share an article. You can educate people. You can tell them about the latest products and services that you offer.
Yes, I read one for insurance information. There is a blog from attorneys.
Oh, absolutely.
And they give you everything up to the date, laws, everything changes.
And it's a great way, yes, to find out information in real time, the latest information. Say you're an inventor and you wanted to find out if your invention has been invented. Well, it used to be you'd have to go to the USPTO, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and look it up. But they don't even have the information as current as, say, for instance, Quirky.com does. That's one of my, not one of my websites, but one of my friends who owns Quirky Marketing, Quirky.com, and they help inventors get their inventions to market. So they get the things online before anybody does. The media is also looking for you online. So you really want to be on a blog because the media is searching for you in real time. They're not going to websites, they're going to blogs. Because blogs are considered higher authority than a website is. So for instance, if you had a blog and you wrote something, I'll give you an example. I have a blog called Tulips Talk for my floral business. And about 3 years ago, I had written an article that I had wrote many years ago for my industry, one of the floral magazines. I decided to post that same article on my blog, and it was all about ethnic weddings and what different ethnicities' traditions are with regard to their weddings. Well, about a week after I posted that, Teleflora, which is one of the wire services in my industry, called me up and asked me if I'd be willing to be a guest blogger on their blog because they thought that was a great post. They even sent a photographer to my shop and did a 2-page article on my company because of that post. Now, I posted a lot of other things, but that got their attention because it was a little bit different, controversial, and the best part of it was that a customer found me. It was an Indian woman who was marrying a Jewish man. They were combining their wedding traditions, and she just was so amazed that I knew anything about weddings other than, traditional South Florida weddings. And she said, "I really would like to meet with you." And so we met, and I actually ended up doing her wedding. So that was one of my big success stories about blogging. 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago now, I created a program online called Blogging for Business, and I decided to interview all the blog experts that I could find. That these were the top 20 bloggers in the world. And one of them was a gentleman named Darren Rouse, R-O-U-S-E. He's from Australia, and he has a blog called ProBlogger.com. Well, I was following him, and I loved his blog because he every day would give a different tip about blogging, and I was still learning about blogging. So I wanted to interview him because I thought I'm learning so much every single day from him, and it's helping my blogs become, really high ranked in the search engines. And he was gracious and agreed to be interviewed, and everybody I asked said yes, they would be interviewed. And so I interviewed about 15 experts, and we created this program through the internet, through teleconferences and webinars called Blogging for Business. And it was just amazing. So you can meet people on blogs from around the world, just like you can on Facebook and all those social media sites. But what I think is different about blogging is that you find authorities. With Facebook, there's a lot of mix of people. So yes, you'll do some business on the social media sites, but here when you're looking for blogs and looking for specific topics and authorities on those topics, blogs are one of the best ways to do it. And one place you can go to find authorities on specific topics is Technorati.com. Technorati is and it should be right down here somewhere. Technorati, they're the authority on blogging. They rank all the blogs in the world. And in fact, I might have some statistics if I can find them here. So they're the ones if you want to find a blog on anything, if you ride a motorcycle, you want to find other bloggers who ride motorcycles, you can find them on Technorati. Or you can just do a Google search. I believe it's, do you see it? I don't see it, but you see it. There is Technorati. I thought it was down below the phone. The other thing is, I also have a blog called We Magazine for Women. Now, right now, you're probably saying to yourself, oh, but I don't have time to write. There's two questions that are always asked, or always said, two challenges people have. They don't have time to write, and they don't know what to write about. So I'll give you a couple of tips on both. First of all, you don't have to write yourself. You could hire someone to write for you. There's a website. I want to show you this because this is really cool. Excuse me a minute. We're going to get out of there, and we're going to go to this other one. There's a website that if you don't like to write, you can find someone else to write for you. You can pay them nothing, almost, to do it for you. And they can write an article, and they can even maybe write it and spin it several ways. By spinning, I mean that they will take that same article and rewrite it several different versions so that you can use that article in many different formats. I've only used this site one time, so I can't tell you if it's good or not, but I know a lot of people who do, because I love to write. So for me, I don't need the website. But if you don't like to write, but you want to have fresh content on your website, here's where you want to go. And in fact, you can find just about anything on this website, which is really cool. Let's see if we can get this up here. It's called Fiverr.com, and it's a place where people will do anything for $5. Here's the first one. I will scream any name or website over and over again like a delusional sociopath for 20 seconds for $5. Now, would anybody buy that? Maybe, maybe not. But they've got some really good things on here. I hired a gentleman on here that has now been doing a lot of work for me to do video editing, because I was interviewing a woman and I put the wrong, I said her name wrong twice in the interview, and I'm like, oh my God, and you know it's going to take me an hour to do that? I'd rather pay someone $5 to do it, and he ended up making the video look really cool, and he even put my logo on the front and on the back for $5. He removed the name, both places, because I knew where they were, for $5. So that's great. You can get people to write press releases for you. Get people to send press releases for you. It says, I will do 10 to 20 push-ups while saying a message for your use for $5. Now, again, there's some stupid things on here, but people do pay for it. It's kind of like eBay. You've heard of the weird things people buy on eBay? Well, Fiverr is just like that. People buy weird things on Fiverr too. I will hold up a sign in Times Square. If anything you want to say, take a picture of it for $5. I would pay $5.
Yeah.
Because in Times Square, oh my God. In fact, I think I'll go home and bid on that right now when I get through here. So, you know, there are some useful things on here and there's some silly things, but you just have to kind of go through it. But if you're looking for something specific, yesterday there was a gentleman who said he'd make a miniature model out of clay for you for $5. Yeah, I don't know if that includes shipping or not, but I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. Now what are we going to do with it, you know? So that's one way if you don't want to write yourself. You could hire somebody. There are other websites like Warrior Forum is another website, and I'll give you a list of all these when we're through. If you give me your card, I'll make sure everybody gets it. And they have a lot of experts on that, and I found a gentleman who would do a press release and send it out to 100 press release sites. He wrote it and sent it out for $30. For $30. And it was a really good press release. And I needed it for a client right away, and I had 3 other clients that I was doing work for, and I said, let me just try it. If it's no good, I've not lost anything, and I'll just stay up till midnight and write there. It was wonderful. So now he's going to be doing press release writing for me, because I have to figure out, as we all do, how to leverage your time to make the most money that you have, because we all have the same 24 hours in the day. So if I'm spending time writing things that are not now I love writing press releases. Again, that's not something I would normally outsource, but it's a good thing to know that there are people who are good at it that you can when you have a time crunch. So those are a couple of things. The other thing is I started to say I have a magazine called We Magazine for Women, and I don't write for it hardly at all. Once or twice a month I write an article on it. But I have 20 regular contributors who write every single day, for me, and those are my regular editors and editors at large. And I have 50 other women and men, a few men, who write on a regular basis and submit maybe one article a month. So I have plenty of content. You heard about, how many of you have heard of the Huffington Post? Most of you have heard. Well, you know it's sold to AOL for $135 million, I think, recently. And they've only been online since 2005, August of 2005. That's pretty amazing. What a great profit in only, what's that, 6 short years? Wow. I want to be just like Ariana Huffington when I grow up. You know? So she's got it right, because that's exactly her business model. She created it, but now hers is a news source. My magazine is strictly business and lifestyle. We don't put news up there, unless it's like news that's related to business and lifestyle. But most of our stuff is, yes.
Do those
Alan.
people that contribute articles, are they getting paid or do they volunteer?
No, they volunteer, because
Wow.
I have such great rankings. I have a page ranking is very good on it's very important for a website, and most websites rank maybe 2 or 3. A 10 is almost unheard of, but a 4 is considered very good. My Wee Magazine for Women has a 5, so people take it seriously. People want to write for it, because I have my ranking is like 165,000 in the world of all 133 million blogs. Doesn't include websites. I have 167,000 ranking. That means that Google's 1 and I'm 167,000. So I'm working my way down, because the lower the number, the higher the rank. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? So my goal, and to get those kind of rankings, you can't post once a week. You have to post daily. I'll be honest with you. But you can do it, like I said, you can automate it. I automate everything. So like yesterday, I had a lot of content. I had a little bit of time. I posted on all of my blogs, so that today they would go live on all of it, so that I wouldn't have to worry about it, because I couldn't be there. I have a meeting now, a meeting at 3, and another one at 6. I don't have time to write today, but I had time yesterday. So you can find the time and do it in between. Now let's talk about any questions before I talk about what you can write, because the what you can write is really important. Yes.
The ranking on the blog versus the ranking on a web page,
Same thing.
or to be able to find it, the same process?
It's the same process. The ranking is, the way they rank them is the same. The difference is that Google uses, and they change all the time. They just changed their what they call algorithms recently, but they rank you by how many links you have, backlinks they call it, from other websites to yours. I have about 1,038 on Wee Magazine, and I probably have at least 500 on every other one of mine. Backlinks are gold to Google, because Google says if you've got a backlink, you're an authority. So the more backlinks you have, the higher your ranking's going to be. The other thing is content. Content is what I call content queen, because to me relationships are king, so content is queen. So you want a lot of content. You don't want to put a 5-page website will never really get ranked in Google, unless it's a 5-page website and you're the only person in the world that is an authority on that. Then Google would say, well, that's the only person with that topic, so they're going to get high ranking. But how often would that happen?
To search for a certain blog, it works the same way?
Yes, you just do a Google search and you put in the topic that you're looking for. If you're looking for magazines for women, or if you're looking for ski equipment, or whatever the terms that you would use to search, it would be the same thing. It's just that what'll happen is you'll notice the blogs will come up before the websites, almost all the time. On the first page of Google, it'll be mostly blogs. There are exceptions, like authority sites like entrepreneur.com, Wikipedia. Any .edu is considered a high authority because they have the .edu, so you want to write for them if you can. I've written for a couple of educational websites that have a .edu, because then my websites get higher rankings, because they say, well, if she's writing, she's got a link from there, that gives you even more authority. So those are little tips most people don't know. .gov, if you can write for a .gov, oh my gosh, you're going to go through the roof in rankings. Alan and then Carol.
Yeah, you mentioned backlinks to your website. Now, if you connect to somebody else, is that considered a backlink, or is it only
for
when
them?
They
No, that's just a link. You're giving them a hyperlink. For
so when
you
I
to
link,
get the credit,
like I link to all my members that join.
right?
So are those?
They're getting the credit for it.
So they're getting credits, and that's helping their rankings, but it's not helping my.
It's
rankings.
not hurting yours. You're just not getting like much credit for it.
Okay.
You know, maybe it's worth a penny, where your link to them is worth a dime. It's worth 10 times more to give
So
them
I
the
should
link
tell
and get
all
them.
my members
They
to
should
link
all be
to me.
linking to you. One of the things I do, I have another website called Women in E-commerce. So all of my members get a logo, and we ask them. Now we don't require it, but we ask that they put our logo on our. So Women in E-commerce has about, I want to say, 3,000 or 4,000 link backs, because we have a lot of members and because we have a lot of articles that people write and then put them everywhere. There was another thing I wanted to mention, but I'll get back to it. So, Carol, you had a question.
Yeah, how do you write for EDU and GOV?
Well, if you have
I'm
it.
writing for e-zine articles and I'm writing for Triumph magazine.
Well, e-zine articles is another excellent resource, an excellent place to be writing for, because they're an authority on article banks.
I'm also an expert.
And you're an expert. So that gives you good rankings on your own website. How do you do it? I can't tell you, but I can tell you how to do it on Wikipedia. You go in there and you submit a proposal to Wikipedia, and I'm assuming you would do the same thing for a .edu or a .gov. If you find a .gov, for instance, the .gov has a lot of women's statistics and a lot of sites that have women's statistics on them. So if you can find a website, we're talking websites now, not blogs, but if you can find a website that talks a lot about SBA, Small Business Administration would be a good example. You go in there and you have an article, an original article that you would like to share with the people in the Small Business Administration. Then you would go and you'd make a proposal to them. If they like what you wrote, they might accept it. And believe me, everybody's looking for content. If you think that you don't want to write, believe me, nobody likes to write. Most people, probably 99% of the world, hates to write. So think about all these wonderful websites that you visit that are related to what you do for a living, and start submitting content. I'm so amazed that people don't do that. So amazed. And it doesn't have to be really crazy 5,000 word content. It could be a 200 word article. People think that they got to write a lot. And it really, the blogs, the shorter the content, the more concise, generally speaking, because there are exceptions, the better it is, because more readers will read it because it's quick. People don't have time, especially using mobile devices today. You have to be able to, you can't sit there and scroll down an 8-page article on your mobile device, but you could do a 200 word article easily. You can read it, hopefully not while you're driving. Someone else had a question? Rose.
How does this monetize for you then? How does this then turn into income?
Good question. And I'll tell you quickly, there's so many ways you can monetize, but one is affiliate marketing through affiliate links, and I have lots of those on everything that I've published today has an affiliation with something or somebody's product or service that they're selling that I feel would benefit my readers. For instance, yesterday I wrote an article on women in e-commerce about autoresponders. Well, I use Aweber, so I get a small commission if anybody signs up for Aweber. It's not much, but it's a commission. If enough people did that, I'd make a lot of money. So every time I post an article that I could put an affiliate link of some sort, I do. There are rules about it. We don't have time to go into all of it, but yes, affiliate marketing, Google AdWords, even though they're not as good as they used to be, you can still do it. You see those little things where it says they've got a Google box somewhere on the website? That's a Google AdWord that they have set up through Google, and they get maybe a nickel every time someone clicks, or a quarter, or whatever it is. So I make money on all my blogs. I don't make a lot of money, and then I sell my own products. Like my blogging for business workshop, I put that on blog posts. People sign up for it because it's all digital and they can order it, and I make all the profit. So, it depends, and I should say every single post, because I don't want to sell every single time, but I do it about 20% of the time. So you've got to find your own rhythm with selling but that's how you monetize it. I'm not making a fortune, but I just started really monetizing my blogs about a year ago, because I was learning, and I didn't want to put out stuff and then, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep them all. Now I'm doing other people's blogs and I'm helping them monetize. So yes, you can monetize them, and it's pretty simple to do. If you're doing an event and you blog about it and someone comes to your blog, well, that person may not have heard about you unless they went to your blog. You just monetized it. You see? So that's the other reason. Any other questions? Okay, let's talk about what you can write about, because I think we're almost out of time, right, Alan? How are we doing on time?
We got about 10 more minutes if you want to take it all.
Okay, good. Then let me tell you a couple things you should absolutely have on your blog. One of the things you absolutely need on your blog is who you are. and a picture of you. And I'll tell you why. It's kind of like social media. In social media, when people put their logos, it's usually because they're a Coca-Cola or a Starbucks or a big name brand that's is recognized world over. But when you, like, and Michael Paggi may be a locally well-known person, but that logo wouldn't mean anything to anybody. But his picture would, because it would give the blog more credibility. So you want to put your own picture up there, because you want to develop relationships. Online is no different than in person. You're shaking people's hands, just not physically touching them. So the way you do it is you let people get to know you. So you don't always post business. Sometimes you want to post some personal stuff. On my Speaking with Spirit website / blog, I posted about my grandchildren this past weekend. They wanted to make a little extra money, and they wanted to do a lemonade stand. Well, I convinced them to do a popsicle stand because it was so hot, and I'm thinking popsicles will be fun. It was a blast. I took pictures, and I've got a grandson 2, I've got a granddaughter 6, and I've got a grandson 10. So the 10-year-old, of course, was in charge. Or he thought he was. The 6-year-old was really in charge. This was a girl. Anyway, so they actually went out there for an hour and a half, and they made $16.50.
Wow.
That was amazing. I didn't think we'd make anything. I live in a small community. Cars never drive by, and there was like 20 cars within that hour. And I'm like, I was so wrong.
On your
But I
street?
taught them a lesson. You know where I live.
That's
Yeah. It was
amazing
a
on your
Sunday
street.
afternoon, so people were either coming or going. I don't know. But it was really great because it taught them a lesson in commerce. So even though I posted something personal, I put my grandchildren's pictures. I only named one of them, and I didn't put their ages. And the reason is I also believe you need to be prudent about privacy. So I didn't tell them where I lived or anything like that. Carol, you know, don't tell them that. But you know what I mean. You have to be prudent when you do post personal things. But I gave a lesson at the end about commerce, because I shared with my audience that when we got in the house, I had my grandson figure out how much money we spent, how much money they took in, and what their net profit was at the end, so that he would understand business. Is that on?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Oh,
it has the red. No, it's moving. The
Okay.
numbers are moving.
Yay. So that was a personal post, but it really had a business lesson. So those are the kind of things that really resonate with people, because people were writing to me, oh, I have a grandson. Oh, I remember doing a lemonade stand when I was a kid. So you get people to talk to you about things that are totally unrelated to maybe what you had intended to write about, but it builds relationships. So it's really about building relationships. And the other thing that I really get upset with people is, please have contact information on your website or your blog. Please let people know how to get a hold of you, and not just email. And not just a phone number. If you don't want to, if you work from your home, get a PO box. That's what I have, because I know that everybody wants to contact me differently. Some people want to call, some people want to email, some people might want to find me on a social media site like Facebook. So it's all on my contact page, and my contact button is everywhere, because that's the second pet peeve I have, and a lot of people do. If I go to a website and I can't find contact information, the only thing I can find is a contact form. Here's my word, next.
Yeah.
That's it. Unless I really, really have to get that person, I just say next. Because I do a lot of searching for women online. I stalk women all the time. And I do that because I'm looking for people to interview for my Wee magazine for women. So if I read an article about someone, I might Google them and look for their website. And every once in a while I will fill out that contact form if I really think my readers need to hear about this woman. But most of the time I'll just say next. Because there's millions and millions and millions of people in the world that I can be interviewing, like Carol and Rose and Sarah and Linda and Robin and Beth. You guys, I'm sorry, but we only interview women. But you know, you get the idea. So, and by the way, for those of you who have not been interviewed by me for my magazine, you are invited to. It's open. You give me your card, I'll send you the link. But it's real easy to do. Everything I do is also automated and turnkey. So I have a button that you go to, it says women, and all the interview styles that we have women on a mission, women in business, women on the move, and you pick the interview you want to take, and you send it to me. And it's all there. The instructions, there's always somebody who emails me and says, well, how do I send the picture? But it's all, if they read the whole thing, it's all there, exactly what you have to do. So it makes it easy for me. I get great content. I just got like 5 interviews yesterday because I posted on LinkedIn and I said, all right, ladies, Small Business Week is coming up, and I'd really love to interview small business women. So if you're a small businesswoman and you qualify, send me this. Here's the link, and I've had 5 already. That was this morning. Yes, Alan.
So, great information about getting content, but how does one get started setting up a blog?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Okay, well, there's several blog platforms. One is called blogger.com, which is free, and the other is called wordpress.com. Those are both free platforms. WordPress.org is the one you pay for. The difference between .com and .org when it comes to WordPress is with WordPress.com you cannot sell anything. Well, you can, but if you get caught, if you put affiliate links or you put Google AdWords, they will shut you down. How do I know this? I did that with my redheadmarketingblog.com one time when I first started it because I didn't feel like uploading it to my FTP and I didn't feel like paying somebody to get it on my, I just didn't feel like doing all the work. So I said, let me just do something. So I posted, I had 99 posts and 98 of them had some sort of monetization on it. And it took them that long to figure it out, but they shut me down. And I had to go beg to get it back up. And then what I did was I went and made it legal and I started paying somebody to host it. Because what happens is with WordPress.com, they're hosting it for you. Just like if you go to Facebook, you're using their platform. So you're not paying for anything. So it's their rules because it's free, right? Okay, so free's okay with me. So I decided I wanted to pay because I didn't like their rules. So you have to pay if you don't like the rules. That's it. So you can go to those. I'm actually doing a workshop. I only have 3 spots left, but it's how to get your blog on, and it's a hands-on 2.5-hour workshop. If anybody wants to attend, just let me know. I have 5 applications, but only 3 spots left, and that's going to take place on May 10th in Davie, and you're gonna walk away with a blog and content, and it's going to be a free blog, but I'm going to show you what you can do if you want to have it hosted yourself. So you can do that. Blogger is another free platform, and you can use Google AdWords on Blogger. I do still have a Blogger blog. It was my first one called Virtual Women's Day. I have not posted on that in 2 years. I still make about $8 a month. Hey, not $8 a month. It doesn't cost me anything to post, because it's free. So I'm making $8 a month in Google AdWords. But if I posted, if I had the time to post on it, I'd probably make double, triple, maybe more of that, But I have other things that I make more money by doing. So if you only have one, you can really monetize it, and you could really get traffic to your site. It's really all about getting your attention online, and that's what we're talking about. Any other questions?
Is there any tutorials that people can...
You can go to YouTube, and they've got all kinds of tutorials on WordPress, on Blogger. There's another one called TypePad. TypePad's not free. I think it's $20 a month, but they're all really good platforms. The reason I like WordPress is because it's more universally accepted. More software has been developed for WordPress than any of the others.
JupiterJim.com. He has videos on YouTube, and he's wonderful.
What's it called?
Jupiter Jim.
Jupiter Jim. And there's a lot of, you could just type in WordPress tutorials and you'll find them. When you take my blogging workshop, you get 23 WordPress tutorials with your and it's I think $47. So
are these tutorials for the .org or .com?
They're for WordPress, period. WordPress organ. The only difference is that one's a hosted and one you host yourself. But the template or the way it works is almost the same. With .org, you get a lot more what they call plugins, which means you can add a lot more features to it. And like you can add video, but you can add your own video. You can actually video yourself and have it automatically uploaded with a WordPress video plugin. But you can't use those plugins on the non-hosted on their hosted site, only on your self-hosted. I mean, there's a whole litany of things that you have to know that we don't have time to know. But I will tell you. But if you just want to get started, go to WordPress.com and get started. Sarah, is yours a free? Did you start with a free platform? Or you did. And how's it working for you?
It's great.
And yours looks very professional. Do you have in your what's the name of your blog?
The Professional You.
And does it say the professional you dot
I have to work on my meta tags and
WordPress.com?
permalinks. Yeah, it's the Professional You.
But does it say .wordpress.com and you redirect it? Is it free? Or are you paying the monthly fee?
No, it's free. It's hosted.
Okay.
with another.
So the difference is it's really what's called a subdomain of WordPress. You're not getting as much benefit as if you hosted it yourself. And when you're doing a professional site, you really want to host it yourself, because WordPress is getting all the credit, and that means that it's going to be much harder for you to get ranked higher, because WordPress hosts so many sites on the internet.
I have another site, sarah.tulovsky.com.
Okay.
So.
And it's self-hosted, not hosted by them. Okay.
So what does that mean, self-hosted versus hosted? Is
Well,
that when it's
the free is
on
that
your
they're hosted.
website?
Yes. Or when you're uploading it to your own host, as opposed to them hosting it for you for free.
So your own host means like
Like an IX Web or
GoDaddy?
HostGator or One-to-One or any of those.
GoDaddy,
There's lots of
is
them.
that-
GoDaddy has a hosting program.
okay.
We High Domains, which is, I'm a reseller for GoDaddy, so we do that. We have it as well. Same price, but we just want to monetize it. Anything we refer, we monetize, pretty much. Because you can't make money. You can, but it's much harder to make money just in membership dues. So you want to have other ways online of making money. Let me just give you a couple of tips of things to write about, because I know we're almost out of time. One of the things that is real popular on all my sites, especially We Magazine for Women, is lists. People love lists, top 10 lists, 100 lists. I write 100 resources women love, 100 bloggers to watch. I do that twice a year. Those are my most often visited and most commented on blog posts. My 100 women bloggers to watch, I started out doing it on the free one on Blogger, my Virtual Women's Day, and then I decided to move it over to We Magazine when we started that 4.5 years ago. And we do 100 women or 101 women every 6 months. And so for 2011, I wrote 101 women to watch for 2011. What happens is when people see, and I don't tell most of these women until after it's published. So then they find themselves, they're Googling themselves. You know how to Google yourself? You do a Google alert, you do alert.google.com, and you put your own name and you find out what people are saying about you. It's called reputation management. I'm giving you way too much information, I know.
Say that again?
Google alerts. Just Google alerts.
Okay.
And Google yourself. Because you want to know what other people are saying. You want to know if someone takes your content and says, I love this article, and you let them use your article, you want to know where it's ending up besides your own website. Especially if I had written an article about what women want, and it was something to do with Valentine's Day. It's a long story, but anyway, it ended up on a website called Maxim, which is a male website. It's not a porn site, but it's for men only. And I was actually thrilled because they had high rankings, and I got really good coverage for that. But I would have never found that if I hadn't Googled myself, because they didn't ask permission. Because on the bottom of all my articles, another tip, I say, feel free to use my articles anywhere you'd like, as long as you keep the resource box or my links, whatever links I put in there, in place. Most people will honor that. If they don't, well, I don't have time to be policing that stuff. So people love lists. Of my 101 women bloggers to watch list, I get the most comments, and comments are gold on the internet. So I get over 100 comments on that one. My first time I did, I had 133 comments. I'm still getting comments from old blog posts, because even today people are finding the 2007 list. So that's the thing about the internet. It's good in some ways, it never goes away, and it's bad in some ways, because if it's bad, it never goes away. So you kind of have to decide how you want to look at it. I don't care. Edgy and controversial posts always get lots of attention in the search engines. Here's one really good tip that's gold. Google has a thing called Google Trends. I'm not sure what the URL is, but just write this down. And whenever there's something in the news that's being written about a lot, if you could put your own spin on it. For instance, Charlie Sheen, was he not talked about forever? It was like so boring. But if you wrote an article and say how to get sober and not be like Charlie Sheen, or if you wrote something that would be pertaining to how to help your kids so they don't grow up to be like Charlie Sheen, and you just put Charlie Sheen in the article once or twice, Google's going to find it and think it's an article about Charlie Sheen, and you're going to get great rankings. You might end up on page 1. Royal wedding, I'm doing a couple articles for clients. One is a food manufacturer, so we're writing a whole article and we're putting the royal wedding in there several times. Because we know that when the royal wedding comes on April 29th, everybody's going to be glued to that table and watching the internet, and we want her to be on page 1 of Google. That would be awesome. So think about those kind of things and how you can spin them to your own company. If you get a new product, You want to do a product launch. You want to write a press release about it. You want to write about the benefits of using it. You want to even write testimonials about other people who've used it. Those are all great blog posts. They could be each could be an individual blog post. Okay? Like I said, they don't have to be long. Sometimes you could just take a video from YouTube and just do a little commentary about a sentence or two. The YouTube video, if it's popular, will get people to draw to your website, and you make sure you always write something. If you put a video on your website or your blog, always write something, because Google can't read the videos, but they can read the content that you write. So that's really important. And then let me see. If you attend an event like this afternoon we got here, I took pictures of a few of us. If you missed it, I'm sorry. If you'd like a picture at the end, we'll take a picture, but I'll write a blog post about today. I'll upload the video that's being played, that's being recorded after I edit it. And I'll put the pictures of all of you, and I'll put, if I have your card, I'll put a link to your website. And I do this every time I go to an event.
Wow.
Oh, well, I should say as many times as I can. So
Don't forget to include South Florida Business Connection.
That's the first thing that's going. I'm going to tell where I was first, Alan. You'll have at least 2 links on there.
All right.
Name correctly.
Spell his name right. Okay. So, let me see if I've got everything. So anyway, the list goes on. But remember this. A blog is what all websites want it to be. Updated on a regular basis, containing content that is of interest to a select or target audience, and easy to update and change. And it can help you increase your visibility online.
Great.
Anybody have any questions?
I just have a comment.
Or, yes.
Heidi and I co-present in the past and everything, and every time I hear Heidi, you always have new information, and I think it's really awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Let's give Heidi a hand. And Heidi will be around, so if you have any questions to ask her, you know, she's wonderful at sharing information, and if you become a client, you'll become highly ranked and very visible online.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
see Heidi for more information.